Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and today I have a new mob for you. It's called the Longwalker, and Longwalkers have a lot of variations, so you have a lot of freedom and creation on this mob. But the main concept is this: they are an amalgamation of a 10-foot tall humanoid that is gangly and awkward, as if it is inbred or something. Like, have you ever seen, like, the movie, the original Wrong Turn, how some of them are, like, proportioned and walk weird and stuff? It's kind of like one of those deals. And then they have the head of an animal. Now, when I say they have the head of an animal, it's important to note, you can use bears and tigers and stuff like that, but what you really want to find is the creatures that would live in the plains that generally would be peaceful. Like deer or raccoons or, you know, whatever, something that would work. So the reason that is the long walkers or long striders or whatever you want to call them, they are very quick as like the animals that they might portray, like a deer, for example, or elk or whatever. But at the same time, they are aggressive and horrible. So I have some zombie bodies, and I had some other stuff I pulled out. But this zombie body here, I just hit it with a minor burning hand spell to remove some of the terrible amount of flashing that was on it. These zombies were a gift, and they're very cheap. I'm not blaming the gift as a cheap gift. I'm blaming the creation of the zombies as a cheap gift. They're very rubbery and flexible, but since I want to cover this entire thing in glue anyways, I'm not overly concerned about it. See if my gun's heated up. It's getting there. I need something to put this on. Here we go. Okay, so let's get a base going. So, Longwalker is not the final and total name I've settled upon. It's just what I'm currently using until I come up with something better. Holy crap, that's empty. All right, not a problem. All right. And lo and behold, it is cold in the garage again. Yep, the shop is freezing. I can live with that. If you can live with it, I can live with it. So I got this base pretty well prepped out. I'm going to brush it off with a toothbrush right quick. And let's see if we can't get this guy mounted. Where's he at? It's not super detailed. I'm just snipping these fingers apart a little bit. And I'm going to snip a little bit of that collar off because I don't want that to show through. And the rest of that detail should pretty much disappear, I'm hoping. Alright, so let's get this dude on a base. And to do that, we're just going to well, that one's empty too. Son of a gun. All right, let's try this. This one won't be empty, I promise. Okay, so we're gonna get our glue. We're gonna get them on here. All right, now this dude's super flexible, like I said, so we are going to have to do something about that. So I have some deer heads. And I'm going to use this bigger one, then just add my own wonky antlers. So what I want to do is I'm going to cut this down here and leave that neck on. Now let's cut a area, kind of flesh that out and get them on there in an awkward kind of position. And then let's just fill that in. And get rid of any weird gaps. Something like that. That's what I want. Now his hand, there's nothing in his hands, and you could easily give them any kind of log or rock or any weapon they could pick up, but you don't really need one. I don't want to play silly games with them. I just want to kind of make him. So let's get him started out on the covering him situation to make him sturdy. So what I want to do is I want to come along, and I don't want to keep squeezing glue out. I just want to kind of get glue. And get some on him and then drag it around like I'm painting him. And he's already starting to sturdy up pretty good, as I suspected he would. I'm trying not to get it on the hands because there's very little detail there, and I do want some remnants of some hand detail. There we go. Getting sturdier. We want to make sure we hide any of the original clothing and stuff that was on him. Kind of get rid of that. So it's important that we come back with our glue for a couple passes and really get him covered so that he's strong. It doesn't fall apart on us and doesn't fall over and bend. Okay. There we go. Something like that. Grotesque, misshapen. Now we need to deal with his antlers. Either making antlers or stealing them from another project is okay on this part here. I'm just going to get a pin drill. Pin vise. I'm going to drill holes where I think the antlers are going to go. Thank goodness this dude was pretty soft and easy to drill into. Okay. Oops. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull those off. I'm just going to get a dibby dab of hot glue like that, just to kind of get where they're going to sit. Am I missing the hole, or what's going on here? I think I made my dibby dab too thick for my holes. All right. Oops, that's way too much. Way more than I wanted. So all I'm doing now is making little U's. Making this guy into maybe a little 6-point-ish looking kind of dude. Oops. Something like that to get me started. Then, yep, you guessed it, I'm going to use a piece of cardstock. Oops. To kind of put that together and strengthen that up. Then let's snip. Let's make sure it's all good and dry. And then we'll do this side. And we'll just snip this off. And you can bend those a little bit, but not too much, or you'll break all that up. Okay. Got some in his ear there. I'm going to try to get it out without hurting myself. There we go. Now I want a tail for him. That deer had a tail. Some spider webs. All right, so his base is a little plain and he's kind of uninteresting. So how do we fix that? Well, we could toss some rocks on the base. That's one thing we can do. Small rocks. There we go. Flip that over so the flat side's down. Most of these rocks, most of them, have like a flat surface where you can kind of get them on there. All right. Sweet. I gotta clean up my desk, man. I got a giant mess going on here. Will I do it? Probably not, but I should. Now I can't find my brush to brush my desk off so I can start painting them. Of course not. Why would I be able to? Yeah, it's gone forever. Close enough. There we go. All right, so let's get him painted. And he's, like I said, at this point, he's pretty sturdy. Let's see what we can do. I have some kind of paint here. It may or may not have glue in it. I don't know. We won't use that. We're gonna paint him in brown instead of black. Save ourselves a step. So my original thought for these, and I wasn't sure I was going to pull it off and make it look nice, is that they're naked flesh. And then I was thinking to myself, like, hiding textures and all that. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it look okay. So I kind of gave up on that idea. I wanted them to be horrific, but I didn't want them to be, like, downright disturbing either, to where, like, people were like, ugh, gross. You know, I want them to be, and maybe you could make them naked, just, like, flesh tone nude and have their bits all hanging out, but I don't know. I decided against it. And once you get it all coated and covered, like that, get your brush washed out. Sit on the air gun. +5 hot air gun I'm burning. Because I know you guys like it when I use magic. All right, let's get a piece of cardboard, which I coincidentally have one right here. And I'm going to get a lighter brown, a very light brown, and a dry brush. I'm going to use a makeup brush from the Dollar Tree. You use what you want, something like that. Get some of that, and I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. And I'm going to see if there's any detail that's worth looking at on this guy, and there's likely not a bunch. We intentionally kind of took a lot of that detail away, and I don't regret that decision, because that zombie was wearing human clothes, and I want these things to be naked and made out of kind of like short fur, or if it was like if you did use a wolf or something, you'd probably want it to be like a longer fur, so you'd want to come on there with a glue gun and give it some texture and such. So you can see that cutting those fingers paid off, because even with glue on there, it managed to maintain some texture. Not a bunch, but to show that they have independent and separate fingers. Now, you could call that painting job pretty much finished right there and not be unhappy with it, I'm sure. We got more to do. Let's use this paint here. Get a small brush. Let's paint these antlers. Might have been better to use antlers from another deer that had antlers. I just liked this head because it was kind of big and gross and weird looking. I think I got them pretty well covered. Let me wash my brush out. I'm not getting off white. This is antique white. I'm going to come here. Paint the inside of that too. I'm just going to do a little patch of that on the chest. Now I'm coming back with my favorite color in the entire world, pavement. I'm going to do his feet, just the tips of them. I'm going to do his fingers in that. There we go, something like that. Let's do his eyes in black. Oops. And the nose. If you wanted to be a real smart aleck, you could do the nose in red. I wouldn't. I'm not convinced that would look great. Pardon me. Holy crap. All right, let's come back with that pavement and do those rocks while we're here. Corruption in local government is very difficult to fight, and almost if you can't get people to run and somehow win, you can never really out it. Yeah, in West Virginia they have something called the home rule law, where state or cities can actually pay to be kind of like immune to the Public Service Commission and the State Ethics Committee and stuff. It's kind of weird, but they've done some pretty shiesty things and gotten away with it. So on those little rocks, we're going to get a light gray color. This is called elephant gray, if I find it. There it is. And we're just going to do a light dry brush on those to give them that fantasy realism look I love so much. So this is just a fan plastic bristle brush. I'm just going to dab that. Wipe most of it off. Hit those lightly. It's a little harder than I wanted, a little more pressure than I wanted, but that's okay. And now we're going to get a brush in a lighter brown to do those antlers with. I painted them in khaki. So we're going to use that same off-white that I used and just barely touch them. We want to get a lot of that off. All right, let's come around the outside with some black. I've been not doing this as much as I used to. I used to do this on every miniature. I used to paint all their outsides black. The outside rim of the bases. If they were like heroes, I sure still do that. But for like monsters that live in the grasslands and plains and stuff, I've kind of gotten away from it. It used to be pretty standard practice. I've done some other ones too, just because I thought it would look good. But I've gotten lazy and kind of stopped doing it. So, I started a video last night. I'm actually going to finish it after this. I know I've not been around, so I owe some videos. My real life job gets in the way. It doesn't get in the way. I love my job, but something like that. Oh no, Sween. Oh no. Oh, there we go. So if you like what we're doing here on the channel, do me a favor. There are some algorithm things, like subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, which I don't think actually works, and leave a comment. Any of that stuff's good. I appreciate those of you that leave comments. As I look at other channels that do stuff maybe not similar to what I do, because I kind of really do my own thing, I guess, making all these crazy monsters and shit all the time, but yeah, just do me a favor and do that stuff. Come to the website and buy some miniatures. Not these miniatures, dudes, that I'm making here. The Dungeon Swag minis that we sell. Real high quality, high detail, beautiful minis that are sturdy, flexible, and will add a lot of value to your tabletop experience. And join our Discord. Currently we're playing a game called The Quinfall. It's very fun. You're, of course, welcome to join us. Let's see. Let me tell you a little bit about these Longwalkers, which I have not decided on a final name for them yet. So essentially, the forgotten god that's in the Crowshriek is not a god at all. And when he breeds with people, these are born. The mothers die in childbirth every time, no matter what. And these things come. But since the wild men can't control them or teach them, they just grow up eating whatever they can find and killing whatever they can kill. They're naturally malevolent. They are naturally angry and hateful. So the Longwalkers, or whatever we're going to call them, just roam around as essentially half deities, so they're pretty strong. And just they're horrible and misshapen. And so whenever, they're all different looking. No two are going to be identical. So remember, one of their big things is if they're made from like a deer or an elk or something, they're going to have a gore attack, and they're going to have a slam attack of some sort. They can bite and chew on people, even though they don't have necessarily human teeth. They have human-esque teeth, whatever their natural animal form was from like the unknown god, and then the parent. Human teeth are kind of like a combo. I do want those eyes to be a little more something. No, I think I'm going to leave them like that. They're good. After I clear coat this, I'm going to Mod Podge them and darken them up a little bit. Or shine them up a little bit. So anyways, that's kind of what the Longwalker does. They just run around kicking the shit out of people, eating who they can, what they can. They're omnivores. They'll eat both plant and animal. And they never leave Crowshriek. You can run to the edge of Crowshriek, and as long as there's no altars along the border, they won't go past that. They'll stop where the altars, like, so there's an altar here, an altar here. Even if the landmass goes around like that and there's a stream, they won't go to that stream. They'll stop where those altars are. Those altars have a line across. That's how they work. So anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.